How's it going, everyone? As always, God bless you and thank you for being here. I'm Gage and this is Candy Coral Aquatics. So today's topic is going to be about feeding coral. Should you be doing it, and are you missing out? Or do you really need to be doing it at all and not even bother? It's just a waste of your time. So before we kind of dive into the topic, I want to talk about coral for a second. Now, we're not going to go over all the different types of coral, but we're just going to talk about the two different feeding types. So that would be photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic. So photosynthetic coral can make their food and nutrients from your light, provided that your lighting is strong enough. Non-photosynthetic coral, they don't use the light at all, and you actually have to hand feed them. So know what you have in your tank, but to be honest, most of us have photosynthetic coral. That's the majority of the coral that's out there that we can buy. So this is really just going to be focused around photosynthetic coral, because everybody should already know that non-photosynthetic should be fed and has to be fed. So should you be feeding your coral? This is a topic that if you looked up online, you would find all sorts of opinions on it. Some people say yes, some people say no, and everything, I guess, kind of in between to maybe, and I guess it could be beneficial. So before I talk to you guys about what I have seen and what I do, I just want to take you on a little bit of a tour of the tank and kind of show you what's been going on. So right now I am using my Oakley sunglasses as a filter to kind of get out the UV light so you guys can see the true color of the coral. I am ordering a phone filter. That way I won't have to do this anymore. So if things kind of get shaky on us or the filter kind of falls off for a moment, just bear with me. So we're going to start over here on the Zoagarden. So over here in the top left-hand corner, we have some Fruit Loops, which now there's about 4 or 5 heads. That only started with 2 heads. Coming down from that are the Rastas. There's probably about 8 or 9 heads on there. I believe I only started with like 3 to 5. Here are some Bam Bams. There was only maybe 3 or 4 heads on there. Now there's about 8 or so. These Pallies, for some reason, have not been doing so good, so that's a topic for a different discussion. Here are some scrambled eggs. Again, I only started with a few. Now I have multiple. The King Midas, I've got a few that popped up. Somebody was telling me that these grow extremely fast, but that hasn't been my experience. LA Lakers, again, only started with a few of them, and you can see there's multiple on there now. And then these no-names over here, I'm not sure what they are. If any of you guys know, feel free to let me know. They're a beautiful zoanthid. I just don't know technically what they're called. They have an orange eye with a blue innard or mouth, if you will, or I guess the mouth is orange. Everything around it is blue, and then the skirt is kind of a lime green, but I'm not sure what they are. But you can see that there's actually a ton of those. Okay, those have been growing very, very well. All right, I'm going to back off the camera here and try to readjust the lighting here, so give me 1 second. Okay, get this filter right again here. Okay, so the Zoas have been doing really, really well. So kind of switching gears, going down here. Let me readjust this again, I'm sorry. This is why I'm saying I really need that phone filter. Okay. So down here we have a rock flower. I got another mushroom. This right here is some type of an SPS. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to just remove the sunglasses, try to refocus the camera, and I really want you guys to see how many polyps are on this thing, if I can get it to focus right. I mean, there is just a ton. It's kind of hard to see this one. A ton of green polyps all over this coral. Let me see if I can brighten it up a little bit. There we go. Now you can really see it a little bit better. There is just a ton of green polyps all over this. Now this coral at first was not doing so good. Like, it was okay, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as lush, if you will. Like, it didn't have as much polyp extension. It didn't have as many polyps on it. The open brain corals over here are doing really well. There we go. Okay, you can see there the open brains are doing really, really well. Another mushroom there. Another rock flower anemone there. The Blastos are doing really, really well. You can see how big and plump they are. There's several heads to those now that even wraps around all the way to the back. Rock flower anemone here, which is doing very well. Iron Man mushroom, which is doing very well. This is a jack-o'-lantern. I think they're called Lafat. I can't say the word. I can't pronounce what the heck the coral's actually called, but it's a jack-o'-lantern. Lafascio, I can't say it. Anyways, it wasn't doing very good. Now it's actually starting to come back. I think it had leptofascia. I think that's what they're called. I can't say it, you guys. Anyways, I think it had some sort of a bacterial infection, so I dipped it. And then I got on a more strict water change schedule plus feeding, and it looks like it's doing a lot better now. There's another rock flower there next to the Ironman mushroom. There's another rock flower back there. And I think that's pretty much all I have. And then, of course, one little mushroom down there. I think that's all that I have in the tank right now, as far as coral goes, obviously. So as you can see, everything looks great. The zoas, I've obviously seen the most growth with, because you can watch the heads appear and spread, whereas all the other coral just maintains really good color, growth, and polyp extension. Okay, these guys are huge. These open brains are huge and are showing off great color. The blastos are nice and meaty and showing off great color. That's the fascia, however you say it, the jack-o'-lantern, that's coming back. Okay, so everything looks really, really good. So now, just for ease of everything, I'm just gonna slide this filter back a little bit here. Just kind of step back and let everything refocus. So here's what I've done, guys. I have used a combination of Reefroids mixed in with Red Sea's A and B complex, which is carbohydrates and amino acids. So I use the carbohydrates and amino acids as like my base, if you will. So that's like my solution. And then I mix Reefroids into it. Now you can see, I hope you can tell, because in person, the tank is absolutely crystal clear, how clear and calm everything is and how nice the water looks. So this I dedicate to upping my water change schedule. I mean, besides feeding, I really noticed the difference when I started doing water changes more regularly and more thoroughly. So now I do about 30 gallons once a week, so about a 50% water change every week. I have noticed an improvement in like coral growth, like just overall health. As far as, I mean, well, like I said, that one coral, that jack-o'-lantern, was dying and it came back. The blastos had an issue with them, they came back. And the coral just seems to be fuller, meatier, plumper, more polyp extension, and just happier and healthier. Oh, here we go. So the cleaner shrimps cleaning the clownfish. Let's see if I can get that out. No. Sorry, missed it. Anyway, so when I upped my water change schedule, I did notice things starting to take a turn, and coral seeming to be a little bit healthier. Now, getting back on topic for the feeding, I started doing that combination of Reefroids and Reef Energy A and B from Red Sea probably about maybe 3 weeks ago, give or take. And I've just seen all that growth in my zoanthids probably over the last, well, probably 3 weeks or so. I feed my coral between once and twice a week, and then, you know, just perform my strict water change schedules. And I think it's really the reason why I'm having as much success as I am. So if you were to ask me, should you be feeding your coral, I would say absolutely. Just because of the results that I have seen. I personally have seen an increase in growth and coloration. I haven't seen an increase in just the overall, the health and the happiness, if you will, of my coral. Just be careful that you're not overfeeding. Okay, this is delicate because when you're adding the Reefroids and the Reef Energy A and B, it is a lot of food to be adding to the tank, so you can pollute things very easily. So just make sure you are doing really good water changes regularly. So that's kind of my firsthand experience. I will continue to feed my coral and see what happens, but I do believe when feeding the appropriate things, the appropriate amounts, and keeping, you know, your tank nice and clean, I think it's just another tool in the arsenal to allow your corals to not only grow but to thrive. All right, guys. So I hope this helps, you know, in deciding, you know, whether you want to feed your coral or not. I will say hands down 100%. I have seen a difference, and I will continue to do so. If you guys have any other questions, please leave them down below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you, and God bless.